a lot of people that are currently purchasing properties, even in the luxury segment, they've become very comfortable in taking mortgages. You do not need to be a resident if you want to buy a property.
Okay.
So finding a seller is always very hard. We're not saying that the market is going to increase in inflation. You know, the market cannot always continue going up. Last year, the rental rates have increased a lot. It was very aggressive, I would say.
Hi everyone, welcome to the second season of Urban Habitat. I would like to welcome my dear friend Sarah, who focuses on luxury properties in UAE and handles HNI clients. Thank you, Sarah, for coming on board.
Amit, thank you so much. I am so happy to be here. I'm happy to be with, a lot of people are not gonna like me saying that, but I am here with the only mortgage advisor that I work with and the best mortgage advisor in the UAE. Thank you so much for having me.
Trust me, I invited you just to listen to this statement. Trust me.
You'll hear it for a very long time. As long as we work together, you're always going to hear it from me.
Sarah, so you've been in UAE for a long time and you've been handling the real estate sales. What I want to understand from you is what is the current trend that you're seeing in the UAE real estate market, which has been changing year on year?
So far, I would say the trend that's really happening is that it's a big transition from residents that are currently renting.
Okay.
They are becoming homeowners right now. And simply for the fact that mortgages have become easier.
Okay.
So this is one trend that's been happening quite a lot. And then the other trend that I've been seeing is a lot of people that are currently purchasing properties, even in the luxury segment, they've become very comfortable in taking mortgages.
Okay.
Again, because of the way it's getting facilitated, because of the new interest rates. So this is where the trend is heading.
Okay.
Yes.
So what you have observed is even the HNI clients don't want to put all their money when they're buying the asset.
Correct.
So if they're buying a house for, let's say, 30 million, they would want to get 15 million financed so that same money can be utilized in other avenues where they make more returns, because it's the end use that they'll be staying in that house.
100%.
So they don't want to block all their wealth in one house. So they want to
100%.
rotate it so they make the most of it.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I'm sure you've noticed getting loans for these clients is not difficult.
Thanks to you.
Yeah. So if they have a proper so if they have a proper income, I'm sure we can get that done. Second thing, how have you seen the changes with respect to the technology which has evolved over years, helping a real estate agent in selling these properties?
It's been amazing. If you remember a few years ago, it was a piece of paper and it was manual and you had to get the original document signed, and it was horrible because we had to do the contract A, contract B, contract F, and it was all like literally a manual piece of paper. It used to be a nightmare.
Physical signatures on the MOU. That was the process.
Absolutely. So thanks to Dubai Land Department and to Trahisi, everything is done online right now. So even if you're in Bora Bora, having a pina colada,
you can accept the MOU digitally.
100%. So you will get a link via SMS, or you will get the link via email. And this is also something that's very important. You do not need to be a resident if you want to buy a property. So even if you have a foreign number, you will still be getting the link, and all you need to do is just approve it through the OTP or through the token.
Okay, so it's made life easier that even a client doesn't need to travel to UAE.
Correct.
He could sit in anywhere in the world,
Yes.
see the house through an agent online, like it, accept the MOU, give a digital POA to his family member based here or his employees based here, and the transaction can happen.
Easily.
You technically don't need to meet the client to get the deal sorted.
Do you know how many deals I closed without even meeting the client till
How
this
many of
day?
them?
A lot.
A lot.
Yes. I've not even met them.
But
I've not even seen them till this day.
It's difficult to digest.
I've not even seen them till
So it's difficult to digest if I may be an HNI or I may be a wealthy client. I am buying a house outside my country and I won't bother to go and see it. Or I'm just thinking at times, maybe I may not be of that behavior in future if I have that much wealth. But I'm just thinking that it is that easy that people buy houses without coming physically to the country?
It is a lot easier than you think. First of all, you did say one very important point. If that person doesn't want to come here, getting the power of attorney is now done through a Zoom call.
Correct.
So this is one. Number two, when you have the right broker and if you've done your own homework and your own research, you don't need to be physically here.
Correct.
You know, especially for investors, why would you want to physically be here when all the numbers make sense, you know? But then again, if you're buying a home, I completely understand you need to be here that's a different situation. But I've already closed so many deals without meeting the clients till this day.
Okay.
So I had one deal. The first time I met them was at the trustee office.
Directly at the transfer.
Never met them before, and
so every interaction was on a phone or a Zoom
correct.
call or a Google
Not
Meet.
even a Zoom call.
Not
All
even a
it
Zoom
was
call.
on WhatsApp.
So the house pictures or a video was sent. They
It
checked the
was
market.
under
themselves.
construction. It wasn't
Okay, it's
even
on-
ready.
okay.
It was
Then-
under construction. It wasn't even
That's okay.
ready.
Then it's still fine because in under
Yes.
construction, I'm sure most of the developers or their stuff when they're selling under construction, everything happens on a video that is shared that this is the final product that you'll
Absolutely. And then the other thing as well is also about the developer's reputation. Like, for
Okay.
example, if I'm selling for a well-known developer, like, for example, Imar or Aldar, there are no doubts. People know who they are. They have a
Okay.
very good reputation.
Okay.
I'm not glamorizing the fact that, it's that easy, it's that simple. It wasn't an easy deal. It was a very, very difficult deal. I had a lot of challenges, but all I'm saying is that nowadays buyers don't need to physically be here in order for them to be able to purchase a property.
It is just they have to make their mind that what they want rather than playing around with multiple brokers.
100%.
That is something they have to be clear because then
Yes.
you feel your time is being saved. Because if you get a client who says, I want to see more options, then you feel that he will see the market and then come back. So that takes a lot of time.
Absolutely. And then the other thing as well that a lot of buyers seem to not understand because they're not in our shoes. When you go around talking to so many brokers, eventually the same brokers will contact the same sellers. The sellers will
Correct.
start thinking, oh my God, my property is so popular. Everybody wants it. And
Correct.
then you're indirectly inflating the market by creating a fake hype. You
So
understand
it's
me?
like that
So
one
there-
deal I remember which we both handled where you showed a client a property. He went and checked that same property with other brokers, gauged to get some discount, and then the deal was done. So it's like it's very difficult to trust individual completely also.
It's
I'm
very-
sure that
yes.
that was very hurting for you because I remember that the same house which you showed him was bought by someone else. So the whole effort was exercised.
Of course, I
Yeah.
was very offended. Like,
Yeah.
imagine this person doesn't know anything about the community. He lives
Yeah.
in a nearby area, and then I showed him everything. I've arranged everything.
Yeah.
I've introduced him to you.
Yeah.
You got him the financing.
Correct.
Even
No, I agree.
even though it was from Europe, it wasn't even easy. Like, you had to get the financing like from the UAE through the documents in Europe, and he did get the financing, and then he ended up buying the property that I offered him with another broker.
And one thing which he did was he didn't bother to inform you as well. Because
And he
I
didn't
feel
even
there's something called as
apologize.
ethics that people should at least be honest that after the deal is done, they inform the broker that I'm sorry, I didn't go through you, but at least some kind of ethics or respect
I
should be
think
there
he
for people.
owes me an
Yeah.
apology, to be
Yeah.
honest, because I asked him, like, why?
So you spoke to him.
I messaged him. He didn't answer me.
he didn't
Like,
answer.
come on, I'm not stupid. I know the seller. Like, we were just having lunch last week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's quite sad because we do work very, very hard
Yeah.
under very difficult conditions. But I would say it's the negative side of our job. Like maybe
Everything has pros and cons.
Sometimes you've got good clients. Sometimes you've got bad clients. Sometimes you have good brokers. Sometimes you have bad brokers. You have good and bad in every industry.
I think that's how the world has been made.
Yes.
We have good relationships, we have bad relationships, we have
Yes.
everything, a mix
Yes.
of everything. Another important point I want to ask you is, Sarah, when in real estate, as a real estate agent, this is on your job.
Yes.
That is it good to have more sellers in your connections so you know who's willing to sell, so then you can offer more properties, or you feel someone has to work on more buyers so they know that they have more inquiries coming in, which is just trying to understand
That's a very
how
good
you
question.
follow that. How
That's
you follow
a
that.
very, very, very good question. I really like it. It's all about supply and demand.
Correct.
So, for example, I specialize in the luxury segment and I work in Dubai Hills. I always have buyers, but I don't always have sellers because there is no inventory.
Correct.
So, when it comes to luxury properties, whether it's Dubai Hills, Emirates Hills, Palm Jumeirah, there is a shortage.
Okay.
So finding a seller is always very hard.
Okay.
But then if you do get the seller, you know for sure you will always get buyers. That's
Okay.
not going to be an obstacle because of the supply and demand. But when it comes to apartments, if you notice, you will always have more sellers than buyers because there's always more inventory in the market. So it's going to be a different kind of challenge for the brokers. They will have a lot of apartments but less buyers. But for me, it's the other way around.
So I understood, but you got
lost?
I got lost in between that. would you focus on establishing relationships with sellers so they know that you are working on their house and you get them a better deal? Or you feel that, okay, when I get inquiries, then I'll go and search for a seller in that community?
No,
because
I would always build a relationship with the seller first.
that's both.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Because then you know that even if he gets another buyer through another broker, he may give you a preference in saying that, Sarah, this is what another buyer is offering. If you have a buyer who offers slightly more or the same, I would want you to sell and make money.
100%.
I'm sure that's where relationship works.
Yeah, absolutely. But then at the same time, if you have a buyer and then the buyer has a time frame, like I'm in Dubai for only 3 months and I need to find a home by then.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes me up to 6 months to get a property. It's
Correct.
not easy.
Correct.
You
I
know,
agree.
like some people have emotional attachments. This is my home. I'm not ready to sell it, blah, 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 whatever. So for me, I have a buyer and the buyer is in Dubai only during this time period and I have nothing for him. And this is wrong, in my opinion.
Correct.
You know, maybe it works for other people. It doesn't work for me.
Okay.
I need to have the sellers before I have the buyers.
Okay. Because I'm sure buyers are also very choosy at times. Like sellers are that we don't want to sell within this period. Maybe our school for our children is getting
True.
over. We are going on summer leave or
True.
whatever reasons. Buyers are also choosy that I would want to get into the house within this time frame or this period when my family is moving here or my business starts here. I'm sure everyone has different reasoning for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But then again, like imagine the buyer comes here for only that period of time and you don't have anything for him. He's going to go for another broker who's already got what he's looking for.
Correct.
You know, so that's just my opinion. Do have a relationship with the sellers before you build a relationship with your buyers.
The buyer. Okay. And what are the new communities you've seen which are coming up in the segment that you're catering to in the current scenario on HNI side or luxury property side?
I mean, to be honest, I would always say like the current developments will always be the best. I don't think anything is going to beat it because of the location and all. But then I'm really looking forward to seeing the developments of H&H.
Okay.
I've been very impressed by the finishing quality, even though we've not really seen yet how it's going to look. But so far, when you see the materials, when you see the floor plans, so I would say right now, this developer, as well as many other developers, they're not only focusing on, I would say, the appearance. They're focusing more on practicality.
Okay.
Better locations, and at the same time, still keeping it luxurious. For example, now if you see new villas, they need to have an elevator. For example, we have a problem with the parking in Dubai for the properties.
Okay.
If you have a 6-bed, 7-bed, why are there only 2 car parks?
Correct. I'm sure each family member may drive a car at least.
I've seen a lot of developers right now that are working towards, improving the quality of life, let's say, whether it's sustainability, going more green, having a short walking distance between the house and the school and the amenities, as well as I've mentioned, having a better floor plan and better engineering.
Okay.
I don't want to see a pillar in the middle of the living room anymore.
Correct. So more thought is going in developing things right now than before because they understand earlier
from their mistakes.
Correct.
Yes.
Plus there's more and more people coming from different countries where the requirement is different. So if you have someone coming from a certain country, I'm sure he's lived in a different lifestyle. His preference would be different. So
the
now
standards are very different.
So now they're catering not to one nationality or 10 nationalities. They're catering to around 80 nationalities who is buying properties here.
Correct.
It's a much wider scale now.
Yes.
That's why.
Yes.
Okay.
But then again, Dubai is now like expanding. They're like getting out. Like they're heading towards Expo City, MR South, so on and so forth.
It's being stretched.
Yes, it
like
is.
everything was downtown before. Now it's Marina. Now it's gone further ahead. Ranches, Dubai South. That's been.
Yes.
So the whole city is growing.
Absolutely.
And from all sides.
Yes.
Okay.
So I would say Expo City, MR, and Al Dar have been doing a really good job because they're working towards sustainability and doing all the things that we've discussed.
Yeah.
But then also I really like H&H. So far they've been doing a really good job with their project.
Sarah, one more important question which I want to understand from you is on the rental market. Where do you see the rental market in this year, particularly compared to the last 2 years?
So last year the rental rates have increased a lot. It was very aggressive, I would say. The market has had a huge turnaround. But I want to say to the tenants this year, as well as the landlords, that this year it's expected to increase, but it's not going to be as aggressive as last year.
Okay.
So it's expected to increase anywhere between 5 to 10%.
Okay.
Yes. However, as you know, there's going to be a lot of changes happening from now till 2040. You know, the Dubai government has initiated the urban master plan.
Okay.
It targets to increase the population in Dubai up to 5.8 million people.
Okay.
It's going to increase sustainability. There will be more properties. There will be a lot more initiatives to improve the quality of life.
Okay.
So we don't know what the direction of the rental is going to be from now till then.
Okay.
But as of this year, according to the studies, this is exactly where it's going to be.
Okay. So it's exciting.
I mean, I just want the tenants to relax.
Okay.
You know, like, because I'm getting a lot of messages from different kinds of tenants. Like, is it true that the market is going to slow down? Is it true that
Or
the
soften.
market...
I think they use different words which are new.
Is the market going to be corrected?
Okay.
Are the prices going to drop? I heard that there are not enough sales transactions. I'm like, there are numbers, there are transactions. So the reports are there.
I'll tell you one thing. This is one question which I also get upset regularly when someone calls me and says that, the market has slowed down just because one individual's phone doesn't ring for a day or two with any inquiry. They start feeling and passing a word to the other person, the market is slow. I said, just because your phone didn't ring for 2 days or 3 days, or you didn't get a right inquiry because of your listing, you should not draw a conclusion. Things are slowing down. So I'll tell you, because I deal with a good number of brokers every day, and this gives me a lot of that. Why do you have to take negativity? Because I know that whatever said and done, people are buying, people are selling, people are renting, and the major part is a lot of people are moving into Dubai to make this as their home. 100%. That is the honest. I've been here.
100%.
I'm blessed. I've been here for good 21 years. So I've realized that there's no other country that can give you this lifestyle. I always say this word jokingly that this is the only place I see a lot of glamour. And in everything. You say restaurants, you say cars, you say watches.
You're not wrong.
Any luxury item is more easily accessible in UAE, and that makes the city glamorous in every way.
100%.
Yeah.
And you've got the safety.
Yeah.
And then you've got all the other benefits.
Peace of mind, safety in every
tax regulations,
respect.
Visa regulations, accessibility to everything. I agree with you. I've been here for 11 years and I lived in 4 countries.
Can you name them? Let's compare them. Let's understand them.
Okay. So I lived in Saudi Arabia for 10 years.
Okay.
And then I moved to New Zealand. I grew up in New Zealand, so I did
That's
my
a very beautiful
schooling and
country,
education.
honestly.
Yes. Our family home is there actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I lived in Canada. I lived in Montreal.
Okay.
Where else did I live? How many did I list so far?
Saudi, New Zealand, Canada.
Jordan.
Okay. The last was Jordan and then
Jordan and UAE. I was in Jordan for a work assignment and now I'm here now. It's been 11 years.
So out of all of them, which is the best?
Here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was supposed to be the answer. Yeah.
No, I love it here. I agree with everything you've said. This is my home right now. And I feel very happy as a woman who's working in real estate or as a broker who's working in real estate. When I see all these people moving here to buy homes and move their families, I can relate.
Because they feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Like everything is improved. Even I've recently read an article that quite famous schools from other part of the world are also opening up in the
That's
so
true.
they feel that there is a need that they should have a school here for that particular segment, or their people are moving to UAE, so that let's make a school here make it easier for them. Correct?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Universities, schools, all of them.
Yeah.
So I think the last question would be, where do you see the real estate market going? Same upwards? You see any more changes coming in?
That's a very deep question.
Yeah.
Okay. So from my perspective, the market is not going to slow down.
Yeah.
Okay. I think everything is in control. Everything is very well planned. And there are so many initiatives that are taking place to keep the market on this level. When we say the market is not going to slow down, we're not saying that the market is going to increase in inflation. The market cannot always continue going up.
It has to be affordable for people to buy. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's basic economics. You'll have the tip, you'll have the tip. But anyways, we're not going to go into that. But for example, Elon Musk is opening up an institute here. It's worth $1 billion USD.
Okay.
That's a lot of money. So for example, this initiative, the Musk Institute, is going to create more jobs, more opportunities, more investors will be attracted to move here.
Correct.
So the GDP is going to grow. So
and a lot of technology-based stuff.
100%.
I just remembered, self-driving taxis, air taxis, everything is coming. So a lot of action or more glamour is coming to the city very soon.
100%. And then, of course, like I've mentioned, we've got the Urban Master Plan 2040.
Yeah.
There are so many initiatives that are taking place. And then now the Golden Visa, look how easy it is.
Yeah. golden visa, you have remote visas, smaller.
Yes.
You can get work from home visas.
Yes.
There are different types of visas. I'm sure I should do an episode on that also, because now there's a lot of range that anyone who wants to move to UAE can easily select options. Earlier it was just either you get a labor visa, work as an employee, or you get as a businessman visa where you own a company.
Correct. But and even back then you had to have a local sponsor, and now you don't even need that,
Correct. Even in normal entities, not a free zone, normal entities as well.
Yes.
That makes life easier.
There are so many initiatives. Like, for example, they've announced this year that even for lands, the lands on Sheikh Zayed Road, many of them are not freehold, they're leasehold. And as of this year, you're allowed to buy a land and it can be converted to a freehold.
Yeah, because they see a lot of demand.
And a lot of investors.
Correct. Yeah. And they want to keep it open for people.
This is amazing.
Right? Yeah.
This is amazing. I'm actually very excited.
Yeah.
The changes we've seen in a short time.
Like, people could end up buying houses in Jumeirah as well. Jumeirah 1, Jumeirah 2. Anywhere on Sheikh Zayed, that land can be converted to freehold.
Yes.
Easily accessible for expats to buy.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
A lot of action for this year, next 2-3 years, easily. Sarah, thank you. Thank you for answering all the questions. I'm sure all our viewers benefit from that. And thanks a lot. Anything you would want to add, tell me.
Thank you so much, Amit. It's been an absolute pleasure. And as I've mentioned to everyone, you're the only mortgage advisor that I work with.
Thank you.
I highly recommend him. He can do miracles.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Amit.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. I'm sure you will have mine and Sarah's number at the end of the video. If anything, feel free to reach out to us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.